So BZ the Voice has a question. He says, what kind of positive windfall, if any, resulted in winning the Peabody?
I don't know, man. That's a that's an interesting question, man. Because you know, I'm not sure people really I'm not sure everyone really understood what we were doing with the Boondocks. And what I mean by that is, like, we have like a really strong fan base, right, that supports us, and they love what we do. And I think we do have a shorthand with them. But in terms of like Hollywood and like, does this actually mean something to the people that are buying stuff? Like, it might, but I think a lot of people are afraid of it. It's just like it won a Peabody, but a lot of the content we were making was so edgy and so, you know what I mean? It was so culturally specific, and that I think a lot of networks, shy away from those kind of shows because it doesn't, in their minds, it doesn't reach a global audience or a broad audience, which we know that's not true, obviously, but Adult Swim was a very unique studio. I mean, a network in that they took risks that a lot of networks, you don't see a lot of networks take. Like, even if you look at Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like, how do you pitch that show to a network? You know what I'm saying? It's a fry and a wad of meat and a milkshake living together next to this guy named Carl. It's like, I mean, like no one would have made that show. And honestly, like, the Boondocks got turned down at Fox first. A lot of people don't know that. And so I don't know. It's been really hard to do that kind of comedy with that kind of satire and social commentary. So I don't know, man. Like, I mean, it's a cool accolade, but I think the struggle still continues. Like, we're still working really hard to get that door to open and get the networks to see that there is, you know what I mean? Like we can do smart Black humor that's also edgy and ignorant at times.
I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but do you feel like you could have pitched this show today and been on with less struggle to getting it made?
Hell no. No,
okay.
One thing the man's gonna be is consistent and honest. I tell you, man. I tell you right now, like, I'm having. Well, look, I got a few things in development, right? I'm working on stuff, but that particular voice and that kind of comedy is like, it's really hard to do, man. It's I mean, it's. But it's one of those things where, like, I know, everyone talks about cancel culture and, there's all these landmines, right? But the networks, they number one, they're operating from a place of fear usually, right? Like, they're not taking as many risks as they used to, period. Like, if you notice a lot of the program, if you think about like the streaming platforms right now, they're just like, like heating up old TV shows and films. Like, what I mean? Like,
saying there's no originality in Hollywood, sir?
Right.
Is that what we're talking about right now?
Exactly. So they're really trying to minimize the risk in every single category. And I think, so it's less offensive as the content can be. I think the better for most networks. And but you don't have, that's why you don't have a Black South Park, and you don't have like
that they bet not.
but that's
not on South Park. I don't mean
right, exactly. But that's the thing, South Park was very polarizing. The Boondocks was very polarizing. Black Dynamite was very polarizing. So it was a lot of people that offended. There was a lot of people that hated it, but there was also a lot of people that loved it and became cult followers of it. And and at one time, I think it was worth it to create a polarizing show if you can build that kind of fandom. Today, if it's just two niggas that do a tweet, it's like that tweet something that they don't like it, then all of a sudden, you see the trade say Twitter reacts. It's two people.
Yeah.
Two people were offended, and now Twitter reacts. And these, these executives, they, this is the kind of stuff that means something to them. And so I don't know. I think it's really difficult. I'll just say that.
So you were quoted as saying that you wanted to be the next Pixar, and that sometimes you get so many voices in one voice.
We froze. Okay, you're back.
I want to repeat your question.
Oh, I said you were quoted saying that you wanted to be the next Pixar, and saying that sometimes you get so many voices in a room telling you what to do that you can lose your own voice.
Yeah.
And it sounds it's kind of a thing where, especially for people of color,
Yeah,
having a story to tell and trying to reach everyone, but really reaching that core audience. Is that what it comes from?
well, yeah. I mean, I think hip hop is the best example of that, right? Like, this is a culture that was born out of a very specific set of circumstances, and it was created by a small subculture within a subculture within a subculture, and it was only done for a very few people. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that music reached your entire block, it was a success. And that music has transcended into it's popular music now, right? It's like all over the world, it's global. And none of the music that was being made when hip hop, at its first, when it first started to really, take off. I mean, if you think about groups like Wu-Tang, they were damn near rapping in hieroglyphics. Like, who the average person had no idea what they were talking about.
Yo, you're good. You're fine. It's open platform here.
Yeah. But I think people, what resonated with people the most was the authenticity, right? And how they were unapologetically who they were. They were honest, and it came from a real place. And I think people also related to the energy of hip hop, right? Because it kind of, there was this aggressive. I mean, there was all kinds of hip hop at the time, but I just mean, like, there was music that was really aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And even though people may not have necessarily lived in the projects and they were on the other side of the world, they resonated with that aggression because maybe something else in their life was going on that they felt like this was a way to express that. You know what I mean? So for me, I just think, like, like that tells us everything. You know what I mean? And you can't. I don't know. You can't. I don't think, like, you can't. That's not people that were looking for a market or trying to create a product that was palpable for the entire world. They were just doing them, and they were making sure that it was good. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all I try to focus on. And when I talk about like Pixar or Disney, I just mean, like, these are people who really, really care about story. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have, a quote unquote Black Disney or Pixar. But I feel like I'm not trying to compare myself to Disney, to Walt Disney or John Lasseter or anything like that. But I just mean in terms of, like, bringing the right people together to tell these really, really important stories and executing them so well that it's undeniably good, and we can literally, you know what I mean, like reach the entire world with these stories that are very, very nuanced and culturally specific. And I think Soul was a good example of that. It was still kind of broad, but there was moments where you're like, damn, that's a real Black barbershop.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen that, in a Pixar
in the animated fashion, right.
Yeah. So we need more of that,
Okay. I think that's a door that opened for you. Shout out to G Black, who does the intro for Blurred's Eye View. He says, "Thank you, brother. You've helped raise a generation. Excited to see what you continue to offer."
And the whole part of giving us the Boondocks and Black Dynamite, as a Black Dynamite super fan, sir. First and foremost, thank you for the animated version. I'm pleased as punch. I still watch it. Can't watch around my kids, but I will eventually get them around to that.
I still watch it. I still watch both the shows. I'm sorry.